Fun fact, ladies and gentlemen, I edit all my videos pretty much in Final Cut Pro. That means I'm tied to the Mac OS. And for the past couple of years, I've been editing on a 2017 5K iMac, and it's been getting a little bit long in the tooth. So I've been in the hunt for its replacement, but that led me down the road that I'm about to show you. I actually wanted something not only that I can edit Final Cut Pro in, but I wanted something portable. So the choice was pretty obvious. It's the 2019 MacBook Pro 16. I wanted to get the one with the Core i9 with its 8 cores. I wanted something with a minimum of 32 gigabytes of RAM, and I wanted a minimum of 1 terabyte of SSD storage. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is my review of the MacBook Pro 16. Coming up. If you want to see more videos like this, why not hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that notification bell. This way you'll be alerted every time I upload a new video. And make sure you follow me on my social media, especially Twitter and Instagram. That's where I post all the latest updates. Now the unit I went with has the Core i9, which is of course an 8-core processor. It's the 9th generation Core i9 from Intel. It also has 32 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. It has the AMD Radeon 5500M with 4 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory, and it has 1 terabyte of SSD storage for a whopping total of $3,199. However, I did pick it up as an open box special at Best Buy. I paid $2,800 plus tax, coming into a little bit over $3,000 here in Las Vegas, Nevada. When it's all said and done, this is a very expensive laptop. And with that out of the way, let's find out what you get inside the box. Let's open it up. Lifting the lid, you're greeted by the unit itself. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Now they give you some documentation that includes your warranty information, and you also get some space gray stickers to match the color of this unit. You get your USB-C cable and a 96-watt USB-C power adapter. You no longer get your extension cable. You'll have to buy that as a separate accessory. Holding the unit for the first time, this is a very premium feel with a very high-end look. And I have to say that unibody all-metal design really is classy. Okay, let's talk about the port selection. On the left side, you get 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports. Moving over to the right side, you get 2 more Thunderbolt 3 ports, and you get a 3.5mm audio jack. You don't get any HDMI port, and you don't get a full-size SD card slot. You'll need to use dongles if you want to use those ports. And for those wondering, yes, you can open it with one finger. Now, one of the big selling points is the fact that this has a new keyboard. It's the Magic Keyboard with better key travel, better tactile feedback than its predecessor, the Butterfly keyboard, which was plagued by all sorts of problems and was just plain awful. And of course, you can't help but notice that oversized touchpad, which of course is the best in the business. And once again, this is best in class. I have to say, they did a spectacular job with it. Super responsive. All the gestures worked well. They did an outstanding job. Now, of course, one of the new features of this laptop is a 16-inch display as opposed to a 15.4-inch display. You get a resolution of 3072 by 1920. That means you're getting a 16:10 aspect ratio. You're also getting a true tone display. This is one excellent display in terms of resolution. Unfortunately, though, there's no 4K option, but that's okay. This display is very bright, very sharp, excellent contrast, and has really vibrant colors. They did a really good job on it. It's also a very bright display, coming in at 478 nits, making this good for both indoor and outdoor use. And as you can see, it certainly did well against some of its competition, and it certainly was brighter than the last gen version of this laptop. And it covers the color gamut really well. We're looking at 100% sRGB, 88% Adobe RGB, 98% of the P3 wide color gamut, and you're looking at 86% NTSC. Well, what does that all mean? It means it's an excellent choice for Photoshop, Lightroom, and of course, video editing. Now, it is a glossy display, but glare and reflections were really not an issue. I think they did a good job in that regard. And I really like the fact that they slimmed down those bezels, enabling them to put in a 16-inch display, giving off a modern look and giving you more screen real estate, a win on all fronts. But you will still notice the chin on the bottom bezel. And I really like the Touch ID. It really works well, very responsive, registering my finger each and every time I used it. Great for paying with Apple Pay, and it's a really good secure way to log in. And it's powered by Apple's T2 chip, which gives you an added layer of security, and it also does all the processing power. That's pretty good. But one thing you don't get, Face ID. I kind of wish they did implement it in this laptop. Hopefully the next iteration will have Face ID. And one thing I'm not crazy about is the touch bar. I never was a big fan of it, and I have to say I would much prefer physical keys as opposed to the touch bar. I would also prefer to have a touch display in combination with those physical keys. I would rather Apple went in that direction, but unfortunately that is not the case. So this is the FaceTime camera, or the front-facing camera on the MacBook Pro 16. It's okay, not the best I've ever seen, certainly not the worst. Front-facing camera can do Skype, video conferencing, Zoom, anything you might need at this point. But I was hoping for a much better webcam. That's not what we get with this high-end premium device. I'm hoping that we will start seeing them coming soon with some better cameras. But I'm curious to know what you think. Let me know in this comment section below. Now, when it comes to user upgradability, well, as you know, Apple doesn't really let you do anything. In fact, this is the case once again. You can't upgrade the RAM, you can't upgrade the SSD or the Wi-Fi card. They're all soldered into the motherboard. So when you're making the purchase, make sure you get enough RAM and storage for your needs, as you won't be able to upgrade it later on. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to go with the MacBook Pro 16 is because I exclusively edit pretty much on Final Cut Pro. So that's the one application, the one software package I cannot live without. So having said that, I'm limited to Mac OS. Now, as far as performance is concerned, this is pretty powerful stuff here. We're looking at a 9th generation Core i9. It has 8 cores, which will definitely help when it comes to things like video editing, 4K video editing, and so far it has exceeded my expectations. It's done really well with Final Cut Pro. And I'm seeing significant performance improvements over its predecessor, the 15-inch model. As you can see, these numbers show the much better performance out of the 16-inch model. Now keep in mind, this comparison between the two are similarly spec'd models. Okay, let's talk about gaming on this MacBook Pro 16. Well, I found the best way to do it is via Boot Camp, and I think Windows 10 does a much better job when it comes to gaming. There are more selections, of course, than the Mac OS. Now, having said that, the sweet spot, of course, is high settings, 1080p. You get some pretty playable frame rates on some modern titles, although ultra settings may bog the system down. Again, your mileage may vary depending on the title. But the takeaway is you can definitely game on the MacBook Pro 16. And when it comes to thermals, a big improvement over the prior generation. I think they solved a lot of the thermal issues that plagued the Core i9 from the last version. Even under heavy load, it maintained a pretty good temperature, and the fans will kick in. You will notice them, although not too overly loud, and it definitely kept things pretty cool, even under heavy load. Big improvement to Apple in this regard. Now, when it comes to battery life, the MacBook Pro 16 sports a 100 watt-hour battery. That's the legal limit you can take on an airplane. It's also bigger than last year's model. Now, having said that, it did 10 hours and 55 minutes on my continuous web surfing test over Wi-Fi at 150 nits. That translates into all-day battery life, but of course, your mileage may vary depending on the task at hand. And when it comes to audio, the top-firing speakers are the best in the business, bar none. These are some outstanding speakers. They get really loud. There's excellent bass, really fills up the room rather nicely. This is one outstanding job they did when it comes to the audio. So to wrap it all up, can I recommend the Apple MacBook Pro 16? And the answer is absolutely. This is one of the most powerful laptops you can get right now, especially if you're someone who needs that extra power when it comes to 4K video editing, someone that likes to use Final Cut Pro. There is no other choice. This is the one to go with, of course, and it does come through. It does definitely deliver. I like the fact that it has that larger 16-inch True Tone display. I like the excellent battery life that 100 watt-hour battery gives you. I like this improved Magic Keyboard, best sound ever on a laptop, and that serious power from that 8-core Core i9 really delivers. In my opinion, there are no real deal breakers here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to give this a score of 94%, making the MacBook Pro 16 worth your money. So what do you think about this bad boy, the MacBook Pro 16? And I have to say, I really do like it. I think it's got everything I want in terms of processing power, rendering power when it comes to 4K video. And as I mentioned, I do all my video editing pretty much in Final Cut Pro. And so far, this has really been living up to my expectations and actually has exceeded them. I like the fact that it could render a 4K video pretty quickly. Now, of course, it's not perfect. There are a couple of things I'd like to improve on, but for the most part, this thing has been really great for me. I like the fact that it has the processing power that I need. I like its 16-inch display, giving you more screen real estate than the previous model. I also like the fact that it has a 16:10 aspect ratio, watching things such as Netflix, YouTube, Amazon, and the like. It all worked really well. Now, it does have that True Tone display, but I actually turn it off because when I'm doing my video editing, I need the colors and I need the picture to be as accurate as possible, and that's not the case with True Tone. But of course, for most of you who are not video editors, keep that True Tone on. It'll really make it balanced with the lighting environment that you're in. Of course, I like its battery life thanks to that 100 watt-hour battery, the legal limit you could of course take on an airplane, and it's actually done really well. You're looking at all-day battery life on this, and it really has performed in that regard. I like the fact that I have a powerful machine that also gives good battery life. But of course, if you're going to do high-intensive tasks such as video editing, you're going to want to plug in because you will drain that battery rather quickly with those high demanding tasks. And of course, the build quality, everything that goes with the MacBook Pro is all here. The thing you're going to have to live with, of course, is the dongles. There's no SD card slot. There's no HDMI port. There's no Ethernet port. You'll have to do dongles for all of those things. And we've sort of gotten used to them at this point. I don't like it, but again, that's just the way it is right now. And unfortunately, a lot of other OEMs have followed suit and have taken away a lot of the ports that we actually need, especially us creators out there who need these ports. But really, so far, this has exceeded my expectations. It's been performing very well. Yes, it's a lot of money, but for what I'm doing with it, with the video editing that I'm doing with it, it's definitely worth the price of admission. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course my website, amdtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew from AMD Tech. See ya.